And I'll be leaving back to Pasadena tomorrow again. We've got a busy day tomorrow. That kickoff luncheon at Kiwanis Club in Pasadena, Al.
You have, Kurt. You've got a particularly busy day. Now, you've covered some pretty good events in your time. You've got the Rose Bowl coming up. But tell me about this L.A. Philharmonic, Beethoven's Fifth. Kurt Gowdy doing a sportscast. Partner, can you handle it?
That's my sport.
Oh,
Beethoven's Fifth. Right. I'm looking forward to that. We're going to do a sportscast there with the Los Angeles Philharmonic Orchestra. Instant replays and everything. Arranged by Jay Heifetz. All right, here's the ball control monitor. 33 plays. The official score says it's 34 for Miami, 18 for Oakland. Look at the time. Miami double possession time. Sonka, the leading ball carrier, 77 yards. Hubbard has 40 for Oakland. And I can't imagine Oakland with only 15 yards passing in one half. That's all they have. 2 out of 5 for Stabler. Greasy 2 out of 5. And now we'll see if Oakland can come back.
Never undersell the Raiders. They're fighters. They're scrappers. They didn't get here by luck. They're a tough football team.
That's right. Charlie Smith and Clarence Davis are deep to receive Yepremian's kick. Starting to get dark here in Miami. The lights are on. Yepremian boots it. And it is taken there by Charlie Smith on the 10. He's out to the 20 to the 23-yard line. And he's hit by Bob Matheson. And Larry Ball, number 51.
He's 6'6". He's going to be some kind of linebacker. We thought you might like this look. Good stride, lean, tall. That's good position. He wasn't stopping. The trick was not to lose his zone, force any play to the inside. Every man has a zone going downfield, and sometimes, as you see there, it gets a little unfriendly.
First down, Oakland, now on their 23. Marv Hubbard rams to his 26. And he's met by Nick Bonacani, who led the Dolphins in tackles this year with 91, and by Manny Fernandez, number 75.
The bread and butter for the Oakland Raiders is running to the left. That Art Shell, Gene Upshaw. We haven't seen it. The Dolphins' defense is taking it away. They're moving men to that side, forcing the Raiders to do the thing that probably they least like to do.
Bill Stanfield is back in the game at right end. Bob Hines leaves the field. Matheson's in there in the 53. Stabler on a rollout. Being chased. Throws the ball. Completes it to Charlie Smith for a first down at the Oakland 36-yard line. Bonacani and Scott nail him. First down, Oakland. That gives them 5 first downs. Miami has 14.
One thing both teams know, it's how you open that second half and how well you do that really determines. Right now, Miami knows its job. Without a doubt, the Raiders know their job. They've got to get a drive going.
Bob Greasy wants to be ready when the Dolphins have the ball back. Jim Otto over that ball. 14 years. He's never missed a game. Stabler, they're going to open up now. And he overshoots his receiver, the tight end, Bob Moore. Dropping back on the zone to cover was Bonacani. Coming up from the safety spot with Anderson. Very seldom do you see Stabler off target like that. He might have had a reason.
And I think the reason was Bonacani, not throwing right into that zone. Now he saw Nick drop, however. He may try a similar thing. He may try a draw. The man head up on the center, if they play that odd Manny Fernandez, he's worth watching. He should be looking for something right at him.
Jim Otto over the ball, playing in his 197th consecutive game. Stabler out to the sideline. Flag is down. Doug Swift, the linebacker. And we have number 78. That is the left tackle, Art Shell, shaken up, but we have a flag drop. And let's see what this is about. Shell limping. We've had very few penalties. Back in the first half, Oakland penalized twice for 20 yards, Miami once for 5 yards. The Dolphins were the least penalized. This is a personal foul. Personal foul against Miami. Art Shell is limping off. Miami was the least penalized team in pro football this year. The Minnesota Vikings led their conference, the fewest number of penalty and yardage. 15-yard penalty. Larry Sonka, who's been the offensive star of the game with his running mate, Mercury Morris. This puts Oakland now on the 42-yard line of Miami. And they're working on Art Shell. This could be a blow for the Raiders. And they come back to the left side. Seiler's gone in now. Number 65 at left tackle. And they have to adjust the running game. Marv Hubbard, 40, 35. And Hubbard spills forward to the 32-yard line where Bob Matheson took him.
That's the kind of burst that this team does so extremely well. The Raiders off the ball. Hubbard comes up there, veering to the outside. He does it so well. The left side, that's Bob Moore sticking Doug Swift. Excellent gain.
3 first downs in a row for the Oakland Raiders. 7 altogether. Penalty was on Doug Swift for a personal foul.
That was Paul Seiler, by the way, number 65, who is in there now at left tackle.
Ken Stabler, 4 out of 8. The Raiders starting to open up. Charlie Smith cutting back at the 30. Reaches the 28, and that's all. Vern Den Herter sets him down the left end. Helped by Mike Colin, the right linebacker, number 57.
Moving to the outside. This is going to be coming right at you. Good blocking. Munford comes up real well. That's Hubbard. That's Mumford. That's Beeler pulling out on him. Had him a little bit outman. Took him right off the ground. Excellent cutback by Charlie Smith. The Raiders are moving.
Ken Stabler, who also was born on Christmas Day. He was 28 years old last Christmas. 2nd and 6. Charlie Smith cutting off tackle to the 24 and just tripped up there by Stanfill. Otherwise, Smith was going for that open sideline and heading for the end zone.
The Miami Dolphins, like most outstanding defensive teams, tried to keep you to the inside. The defensive end moves across. The linebackers forcing generally to the outside. The cornerback coming up. Now on the last couple of plays, they've been going left, away from Doug Swift's side, more at Mike Colin's side.
3rd down, 2 for Oakland. 14-0. Miami ahead. Oakland has the drive. Stabler's going to throw. And a pass is complete to the 20-yard line. Catching the ball is Marv Hubbard. That's the second pass he's got. Doug Swift tackled him there at the Oakland first down. Oakland on the Miami 20. 4 first downs in succession for the Raiders.
Look at the time also that Kenny Stabler is now getting. Okay, he gets his first down again. He's been doing well on 1st and 10. He's been going, as we said, to the left. Stanfill was hurt, 84. Behind him, Mike Colin.
First down, Oakland on the Miami 20. Charlie Smith streaking outside. 15, and is swirled out of bounds on the 14-yard line by Curtis Johnson, the right cornerback. The 6-yard gain. It'll be 2nd down, 4. In the second period, Oakland had the ball only 8 plays. Their deepest penetration was to the Miami 33. John Madden yelling out some instruction. Oakland's coming out here with a poise that a team must do. That's Bob Brown kneeling there on the sideline. Hines is out. Matheson is in. 2nd down, 4 for the Raiders. And they get nothing on that one. Charlie Smith dropped on the 14 by Stanfill and Bonacani. Bonacani, number 85.
Stabler is one of the outstanding play-action quarterbacks also. He hit Marvin Hubbard once already or several times in the past, obviously, always short. That quick handoff, Kurt, may possibly have tried to hold the linebackers inside and maybe try to swing his back to the outside.
3rd and 4. Oakland on the Miami 14-yard line. Pass play. It is off the hand of Fred Biletnikoff, who usually has glue on his hand. Very seldom you see a ball come to Biletnikoff and he drop it. Went right through his hand. And now the field goal team is coming on. 4th and 4.
Let's see it again. Stabler can throw strikes. He's getting good time. Fire is perfect. How rare this is.
I can't ever remember Biletnikoff dropping a ball right to him like that when he was open.
No, last week I shook hands with Mercury Morris after the game, and all over his hand was stickum, and I'm sure Biletnikoff wears it also, but that didn't look like it there.
21-yard field goal attempt by George Blandis. Stabler will set it down, and the kick is up, the kick is good, and Oakland has scored for the first time. So the Raiders had quite a drive then, and now it is Miami 14 and Oakland 3. Oakland had a 63-yard drive before it was stymied. Then the field goal by Blanda. The kickoff by Ray Guy to either Mercury Morris or Charlie Lee. A high kick, not too deep. Coming up to the 20 is Lee. Breaking away at the 30. He's at the 40, 50, and down on the 42-yard line of Oakland. Charlie Lee.
Ray Guy has not been getting those kickoffs deep. The champion has a way of coming back. And this one almost came all the way back. George Atkinson pursuing from the outside. Cutting off the angle. Actually outrunning Mercury, forcing him back to the inside. Ray Guy makes the tackle with Villapiano.
52-yard return by that man, Charlie Lee. Ray Guy just kicked it off and tackled him. Now Miami has the ball on the Oakland 43. Jim Kicks in the backfield. Sonka has the ball, and he bulls his way to the 39 of the Oakland Raiders. A 4-yard advance, 2nd and 6. Otis Sistrunk brought him down. The Dolphins have been exceptional the last 2 years on their specialty teams. Not only covering kicks, but returning kicks.
They work at it, and they work at it awfully hard. You can see the discipline there, Kurt.
Lee had averaged 28 yards at kickoff return this season. He just racked that one up for 52. 14-3, Miami ahead. They had the ball on the Oakland 39. Jim Kick to the 36 of Oakland. 84 is Tony Klein, and Dan Connors is 55 to the stopping.
Linebackers are good. Gerald Irons has been playing regularly. He's moving to that hole. Actually, Langer could not get through. He kind of stumbled coming through. You see a little lead into play. Gerald Irons moves to the ball with Villapiano helping out. Phil is having an excellent day.
3rd and 3. Miami on the Oakland 36. Miami ahead 14-3. Oakland had just scored to open the second half. No flags are dropped. Short pass to Jim Kick, and they take him out. He's short of a first down. You saw 2 Raiders jump and then get back. That's all right as long as they don't touch anyone. Watch him jump now. That's all right, see. If he touches somebody, though, it's encroachment. Now that's Jones jumping and getting back.
No,
they're just ready to fire. They're on it now.
The amazing discipline there is that the offensive line didn't move, and there's such a great tendency when someone moves to pull you off. 4th and 2, Yepremian will try a field goal. Yepremian has kicked 25 out of 37. He has hit 5 out of 9 between the 40 and 49. This one's up. It's good. Darryl Yepremian, the Cypress pie maker, has added 3 more points to Miami. And now here in the Orange Bowl, it's Miami 17, Oakland 3. Senior Bowl, January 12th, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. They've cooked up some special rules for that game, which will be interesting. 35 players in last year's game made the NFL. And it's on NBC. NBC Sports, number 1 in live coverage of major sports events all year round. Clarence Davis, Charlie Smith deep. We have 7:27 to go in the 3rd period as Yepremian will kick it away. Another high boomer. And Davis is going to run it out. It's out to the 20, and down he goes in the 21-yard line. That's Mumford and Larry Ball down the field. There's a lot of excitement at the front end of the wedge. The wedge forms, waiting to see whether or not the man who receives the football is going to yell go and take it back and pull it in. The wedge will form. That's Pete Banaszak, John Vella at the base of the wedge. Skip Thomas here. That's Poppy.
All right, the Raiders first down on their 21. They're trailing by 14 points. They'll really have to go to work and open. Stabler, Charlie Smith, and he's to his 27-yard line. Stabler's 5 out of 10 for just 34 yards in the game. The Dolphins are famous for holding you to the short ones, or holding you to nothing sometimes. They allowed the fewest points in the NFL this year.
This, Kurt, might be one of the weaknesses. We know that Siani has some speed. He doesn't have that brilliant speed. Bolitnikov lacks it. The inability of the Oakland Raiders to go deep.
Dolphins have their 53 defense in now. Matheson playing right in. Stabler passing complete to Bolitnikov. And he's down on his 34-yard line, but he has a first down. Jake Scott nailed him. Red Bolitnikov catches his first pass of the game. He caught this year 48.
Here he is alone, Kurt. Making a simple fake. He sees his man in trouble. Moved to the outside nicely. Scott always there.
You know, he comes back to the ball about as well as anyone, Bolitnikov, to help that quarterback out.
He really does. And we're seeing more and more of it, especially against the zone.
First down, Oakland on their 34-yard line. They're racking up first downs in this period. All they have to show is a field goal so far. Siani in motion. Clarence Davis with the ball. And he's to his 40-yard line where Jake Scott, the safety man, hits him again. Number 13. Scott voted the most valuable player of the Super Bowl last year.
Marv Hubbard was leading that play. Nick Buoniconti was closing well. As Nick goes to the hole, you notice no one's getting to him. He's behind the man. You're going to see Hubbard come into the picture. That's Marv. That's a good block. That's what the man without the ball is supposed to do, block.
Scott wobbles off the field. Charlie Babb replaces him at safety. Babb will be 49, and Scott is being helped to the bench. Stabler lets it go, and he hits his man on the 46 of Oakland for a first down. Buoniconti and Mike Colin take Bob Moore, the tight end. There's Jake Scott being attended to. You see why we call Stabler a dart thrower. He just waits and waits, and suddenly, peek,
Gets pretty good time, too.
Yeah,
huh?
he gets good time, but he really zips it.
Well, he shows tremendous poise. That's what I thought we saw so outstanding about him last week. He's there, he looks, he knows exactly what that defense is doing.
Oakland has outplayed Miami here in the third period. Pete Banaszak's in the backfield now. Stabler's pass. Fumble. Now they call it incomplete. Incomplete pass. Mike Colin picked it up, but they said the player, Clarence Davis, did not have possession or control, and he didn't. That was a correct call. Dick Anderson hit him.
Oh, does he come up, Dick Anderson? He read it all the way. That's Bob Matheson charging. Kurt, I could argue that one.
I don't know. You may be right, Al. He carried the ball a step or two.
Right. Mark one up for the crowd.
The rule is that the player must do things common to the act of football. And he turned, he had the ball. Second down, 10. Miami fans don't like the call. Stabler now, 7 out of 13. Stansville, they're on Stabler. Stabler unloads the ball to Siani. Siani's at the 50 and out of bounds in Miami territory. Charlie Babb pushed him out. Stabler very adroit at escaping the pass rush.
And Mike Siani very adroit at coming back to the ball. He saw his quarterback in trouble. That's Fernandez coming up the middle. The outside rush is there. Now Siani will come right back at you. He moves so well. Mike Siani.
Mike Siani, drafted in high school as a baseball shortstop by the Yankees, then in college by the Los Angeles Dodgers. They want to see the doctor is making Scott count, testing his eyes, his reflexes. He must have had his bell rung down there when he made a tackle. 3rd and 2, they're going to pass for it. Uh-oh, there's interference. Interference on Nick Buoniconti, who reached over the shoulder of Pete Banaszak. and interfered with him. An automatic first down on the Miami 41. Bonacani watching the signal for the penalty being given.
You ought to get a good view of this. This is from the end zone. That's Beeler blocking. Upshaw's blocking. Otto's blocking. Plenty of time. Here comes Nick over the top. Quick Nick.
Jake Scott's back in the game. Bob Matheson is in. And the 53 defense of the right tackle, Bob Hines, goes out. First down, Oakland on the Miami 40. Where Miami controlled the ball in the first half, Oakland is controlling the third period. 17-3, Miami. Saber, deep bomb. Way down there. Ew, it's no good. Curtis Johnson broke it up to Cliff Branch. He was open momentarily. Ball might have been thrown a little bit too high and gave Johnson a chance to recoup and get back.
Curtis Johnson was beaten, and then Curtis Johnson proceeded to outrun the football. He's getting plenty of time. That's the speed they like.
Well, that ball was dropped more than anything,
Yeah,
Al.
that's right.
Over there in that corner here in the twilight. That's two balls that the Raiders have dropped here in this third period. They're not having a good day with their hands. Third down and 10. Oakland on the Miami 40. Stabler, pass, complete to the 30 of Miami. First down. Mike Ciani coming across. Very durable player, has not missed a game in 2 years. He can out-jump and out-fight many defenders for the ball. He's big.
We've gotten a lesson over the last few weeks by Kenny Stabler, throwing beneath the zone, and he does it so well. Another thing to keep in mind is he can run the football. Again, he has time. He moves, he reads the defense, he fires under the zone. Mike Colon closing, Dick Anderson.
Kenny Stabler going to work in the Dolphins now. He's red hot here in the third period. First downs are about even. Miami's ahead 17-3. Pete Banaszak to the 25-yard line. We've had two ball games. First half won by Miami. This one's tied in the score 3-3, but Oakland has dominated.
Right now, the no-name defense is a little bit at stake. Their reputation, frankly, they're being moved on. They cannot get to the passer, and this young man is picking them apart. Running left well, throwing short well.
You know, Al, Oakland's quarterbacks were sacked 45 times this year. Third worst in the league. Today, they haven't even touched Stabler. Look at that protection. Here's wide open. Touchdown, Ciani. Mike Ciani wide open for the score. Dick Anderson got mixed up. They got mixed up on the coverage. You could have caught that ball.
Let's see it again. Time is the name of the game. You give a quarterback time, they beat anyone. There was no doubt about this. The man from Villanova on his knees. Another angle, Kurt.
Watch, here he comes now. That's Mumford going. See, Anderson loses him on the exchange. It's almost like two basketball players that forget to switch on a screen play. And Ciani just broke in between them as they scissored. The pass nearly was thrown too low. So the Raiders kicks the point. Been all Oakland here in the third quarter as they start to come back. We've got something going. Miami 17, Oakland 10. A human interest story. Number 3, Darryl LaMonica took these Raiders time after time to championship. Now he's been dislodged by Ken Stabler, number 12, who waited 4 years for his shot. Came in 69, a knee operation, then left camp because of personal trouble. Finally he's made it, and he right now has been tremendous in this third period. The kick is to Mercury Morris. Mercury's out to the 10, to the 20. Now he's running backwards, and he's buried, and now the Raiders have the momentum. And down there is Gary Weaver to cover the kickoff.
Kurt, we talk about champions. Okay, the Miami Dolphins going for an unprecedented third time in the Super Bowl and a third championship. And here they are, 228. They are threatened. The momentum has gone the other way. Maybe the most important drive of the year right now starting for the Dolphins.
That Oakland drive was 79 yards in 10 plays. Oakland's had the ball about 90% of the time in this period. Mercury Morris, they gang up on him on the 21 of Miami. 3-yard gain, 2nd down 7. Bill Villapiano stopped him. By the way, NBC's 3 Alaskan affiliates, live coverage today. And also live coverage for the first time in the Rose Bowl and Orange Bowl. Well, my sister can watch it up in Anchorage, Alaska. I'll be watching right now. 2:15 to go in the 3rd period. A Raider is injured.
Nice to have Kurt Gowdy Jr. with us. Last week they didn't get you any food in the booth, so you had your own man coming.
2nd down 7 coming up. Let's talk about Stabler and the Raiders here, Al. 63-yard drive. The opening of the 3rd period, it was stopped, and then Oakland kicked the field goal. Now they've come back with a 79-yard drive, and they've gone to the air to do it. They're starting to open up and stretch Miami's zone.
Well, you know how we felt about this man right along. We saw him against Kansas City come in kind of a desperate situation, and from that point on, he's really delivered. Looks like Nehemiah Wilson. We're talking about his size. Number 48, 9-year veteran, Grambling. Is it Nehemiah? Yeah.
In the first half, Miami had the ball double the amount of Oakland. They had a 20 minutes to 10 minutes for Oakland. Listen to this. In the 3rd period, Oakland's had the ball 10 minutes, Miami 2 minutes.
All right, the 6th man ordinarily, or rather the 5th man ordinarily in the backfield, Skip Thomas is over there, number 26.
He's a good one, too, a 2nd-year man from USC. He thinks he should be playing. 2nd down 7 for Miami, under 21. There he is, filling out Mercury Morris to the 33-yard line. Upended finally by Art Tom to tackle, and Kuchenberg was blocking for Mercury.
There's great blocking. There's great hitting. The defense is moving across. You're looking at Skip Thomas over there. That's the pop. Offside. Nothing to do with the play, right? And Howard Twilley, the young man from Tulsa, just keeps popping.
That's what they call the bump and run.
Bumping the other way.
Yeah. First down, Miami from their 33. Sauka's at the 35 to the 40. Sauka's getting close to 100 yards. He scored 2 touchdowns in the first half. 7-yard pickup. 2nd down 3.
Kurt, needless to say, the best defense really today that the Miami Dolphins have had is their offense. They're moving the ball. They're keeping it away from Oakland.
Larry Sauka now has carried for 88 yards. They spotted him down in the 39. 2nd and 4. 40 seconds to go in the 3rd period. 17 to 10, Miami. Mercury Morris. And he stopped short of a first down. Bill Villapiano again. Gerald Irons. Jim Kicks coming into the backfield. The other tight ends moving into the game. Marv Fleming. That's Twilley and Morris going out. Now it is 3rd down. A yard to go. The gun will go off here before they move up to the ball. They'll change goals. There it is. That's the end of the 3rd period here in the Orange Bowl. And our score now is Miami 17, Oakland 10. Preceding announcement made on behalf of the National Football League. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network. Kurt Gowdy, Al Dero got us the 4th period, the American Football Conference Championship. Ben Davidson used to be a defensive star end with a mustache, no longer. 3rd and 1 to go, Miami. First down, Larry Sauka. Goes to the 48-yard line of Oakland. And that play carried 10 yards. He's about 2 yards short of 100 yards now.
All right, we talk about middle linebackers overreacting. Connors goes left. Little comes through and pops. Zonka behind him. What a hole, what execution. Another angle.
And let's watch Zonka here, Al. At the end of this play, he has 98 yards. Big day for him, 2 touchdowns. First down for the Dolphins. They're being threatened here in the second half after having the first half all their way. Sonka outside, and he doesn't go much that time. That's Filipiano again. Third-year linebacker, number 2 draft pick in 71 from Bowling Green. And he has just been a stick out today here in the Orange Bowl. No gain. Second down 10. To stop Miami, it's very important to stop him on first down. That's Nehemiah Wilson testing a knee or a leg. Now they're trying to test him against resistance. And he doesn't look like he's ready to get right back in there. Second down 10. Miami ahead 17-10. Minnesota standing by to see who they're going to play in the Super Bowl. They beat the Cowboys 27-10 today. Draw play to Sonka. He's tripped up at the 45-yard line of Oakland. Just a 3-yard advance. It'll be 3rd and 7. And that's Otis Sistrunk.
And on the far side of the field, we continue to watch the battle between Willie Brown and Paul Warfield. It is now a one-on-one situation. Third, fairly long. Do you go after Willie Brown? It could be a mistake.
Bubba Smith's moved in there now. He's gone at defensive left end. They want him to put on 15 pounds for next year. Don Nottingham's in now, and Jim Kick's in. Nottingham has replaced Larry Sonka. Morris and Sonka are out. This is a 3rd and 7. Backs are out. Greasy runs up the middle. That was a conceived play. That was really a quarterback draw play. That was a conceived quarterback draw play.
Exactly right, Kurt. Boy, I'll tell you, and they executed it perfectly. Kuchenberg came to his left. Look at Langer. What a block. That is beautiful. That is the quarterback draw. You know, the champion has it in the clutch, and right now they're playing like champions. They're threatening and they're coming.
They had a special play. Nottingham goes out. Sonka's in now. You saw the cross blocking up front. Larry Little's out, and Irv Goody's gone in. First down, Miami on the Oakland 28. Larry Sonka goes to the 18-yard line. Unstoppable today. Jack Tatum hit him. Sonka, left arm seems to be bothering him, Mel.
Yeah, Zonka alone. It's his left arm bothering him. It looked like he hit his toe. A battering ram. Boy, has he been a find, and what great runners have come out of Syracuse.
And you know, they worried about him when he first came into pro football. He had severe headaches, and they had to devise special helmets, and they thought maybe he couldn't go on, but he's giving the headaches to the other boys now. Second down and inches. Greasy may throw here. Up and a runner. They have a first. Uh-oh, they lost the ball. And it's recovered by Miami. There's Filipiano again down at the bottom of the pile. But Mercury Morris came up with it. Miami nearly fumbled it away.
This is kind of rare to see Zonka do that. You saw it being punched right out of his arm.
Now they have a 3rd and 3. Nehemiah Wilson has a sprained knee. They don't think he'll be back in the game. Jim Kicks in the backfield now, along with Sonka. 3rd and 3. 10.5 to go in the game. 17-10 Miami. Sonka. I don't believe he has it. Larry Sonka stopped. And the field goal team's coming on for Miami now. Gerald Irons made the tackle. Here's your premium. He'll try and kick a field goal, which would force the Raiders into a touchdown and a field goal to tie, and 2 touchdowns to go out in front. Earl Morrow will hold. Well, that fumble cost the Dolphins. It looked like they were on their way to another touchdown. Gerald Yepremian will kick a 26-yard field goal, or try to. And his kick is up, and the kick is good. Yepremian's hit one over 40 today, and this one is 26. So the Dolphins come right back after they had been routed in the 3rd period. And now it is Miami 20 and Oakland 10. Happiness is New Year's Day on NBC when John Davidson, Ed McMahon, and Miss America host the 85th annual Tournament of Roses Parade. Following the Rose Parade at 1:45 Eastern Time, Rose Bowl preview the linebackers with Ross Porter. All right here on NBC. Clarence Davis, Charlie Smith deep. High kick. Fumble. They're in trouble. And he gets it out and he's dropped on the 11-yard line. Davis stopped by Don Nottingham, number 36. Well, the Dolphins just went 61 yards before they were stopped in 12 plays. Now they have Oakland pinned back deep. That's Bob Brown, the massive all-pro tackle who is ailing with a bad knee and was deactivated for this championship game. Ben Davidson used to play defensive end. But more important, let's get back to the game here as the Raiders come up on their 12-yard line with a first down. Kenny Stabler fires a screen pass. Smith runs it to the 20, skips away to the 25. He's out of bounds, and he has a first down. Dick Anderson made the tackle.
Just a perfect call. Great call. This is Stabler. Now, the blocking up front is so important. They didn't expect it. Two men break out in front. Beeler, Upshaw, Smith. Dick Anderson making the tackle.
Kenny Stabler now is 11 out of 18. In the second half, he's 9 for 13. 9 out of 13. He is Mr. Efficiency. And he hits another one, a short one to the 30-yard line to his tight end, Bob Moore. Gain of 4. It'll be 2nd and 6 for the Raiders. Dick Anderson right on Bob Moore.
Here's Anderson. We think he's one of the outstanding ones. He's proven it this year, led the league in interceptions, makes the pop. Actually, Kurt, playing deep now is Jake Scott. He is kind of the center fielder, looking for the deep pass. Soon, Stabler is going to have to go up top. He must score quickly.
20-10 Miami. 8:45 to play. Draw play to Hubbard. He runs right in to 3 white-shirted Dolphins. Bob Matheson was there, 53.
The man from Duke University, number 53, and has he been a valuable weapon? They named the defense after him. He plays off of Charlie Smith, makes a fine tackle.
3rd and 4. Clock moving. Getting desperate now for the Raiders. 8:15 to go. Now Matheson lines up as a right end. Stabler's pass. Charlie Smith catches the ball on his 36. But I believe he's short of a first down. Mike Colon hit him. Now what do? You're behind by 10. The clock's moving against you. Oh, they called it a first down. They're not even going to measure. They're all right. They're all right as they look to the far sideline.
He's been interesting on first down calls. He's tried just about everything. Keep your eye again on the possibility of the quick burst up the middle.
Raiders ball, first down. Charlie Smith, nothing. At his 36. Kenny Stabler now is 13 for 20 passing, which means he's 11 out of 15 in the second half. And he played under Bear Bryant at Alabama on 3 bowl teams. The Orange in 65, the Sugar in 66, the Cotton in 67.
In that backfield with him, Pete Banasak of Miami, also an excellent receiver.
2nd down 10. There's Volitnikoff trying to get away. He does at the 45, and he's down at his 46-yard line by Doug Swift from Amherst. Time called. And Volitnikoff is shaken up.
Time called at 6:41. 10 points behind. The whole season is riding now, and just a great receiver is limping off. That's
the second pass he's caught today. Last Sunday, The Miami Dolphins held the rookie star Isaac Curtis to 1 catch for 9 yards. Today they stopped Biletnikoff with just 2 receptions. Now Matheson goes off the field. Hines is back in at right tackle. The Dolphins have their regular defense back in. 3rd down and a half yard to go for Oakland. They're trailing 20-10, 6.5 minutes to play. Minnesota will play the winner of this game for the Super Bowl. No, I don't believe so. Marv Hubbard, or Pete Banaszak racked up. Dick Anderson got to him first. That's Fernandez down on the ground, but Anderson came up from the safety spot.
Well, they knew what they were going to do. They went into their running defense. Fernandez barreling across. Bonaconte coming up and wham.
That's Anderson that hit him with that right shoulder.
Exactly.
They're going to measure. The clock has stopped, 6:21 to play. Now they'll stretch the chains and move Stabler away, and they are short by about 3 inches. They almost have to go for it, Al.
There's no doubt they're going for this.
Marv Hubbard is coming back in, replacing Banaszak. It's on the 46-yard line of Oakland. 4th down and about 3 or 4 inches to go. If they don't make this one, it's about all over for Oakland. Miami ahead 20-10. The clock is moving again. They're going for it. And Stabler shuts it down. Boy, Miami's really bunched. Ball drawn loose. Stabler has it. And they fail to make it. Miami takes over. Miami's ball. Dick Anderson knocked the ball loose with another one of those jarring tackles. Curtis Johnson
made the tackle,
but Dick Anderson knocked the ball loose.
Oh, man, what defense. The big man gets popped.
Look at Anderson hit him, number 40.
Watch this play here now, Kurt. Very alert, pick it up. And here comes Curtis Johnson. He has the first down and he gets by Curtis. He doesn't get by him.
But you have to give Dick Anderson credit for 2 sensational defensive plays. There's your score with a timeout. Let's look at it again. Watch this play by Dick Anderson. At the top, number 40, knocks the ball loose. 2 of the best defensive plays of the game in a row by Anderson, stopping the Oakland Raiders from making the first down. There goes Warfield in motion. Now the ball given to Sonka. And he's to the 39-yard line of Oakland, a 3-yard gain, 2nd and 7. The Raiders will use the clock now. They're leading 20-10. Otis Sistrunk and Dan Connors on the tackle. They've got to protect this 10-point lead, Al. If they do, they're the first team in history to go to 3 Super Bowls in a row.
Kurt, no doubt, and they're playing like champions, and Oakland is also. That misdirect we saw again, Zonka hitting inside. Now they've got it tight to the middle. Mercury can still break it outside.
Larry Sonka's made 113 yards today. 25 carries. They've used him. He'll go 30 before the game's over. Here's Mercury Morris. And he's out of bounds. First down on the 30-yard line of Oakland. Kuchenberg out in front of him. And Willie Brown finally drove him out of bounds. A first down for the Dolphins.
Kurt, over the years that I've had the pleasure of playing and doing National Football League football, I must say, I have never seen a more precision-like football team than the Miami Dolphins.
You're saying this is one of the greatest teams you've ever seen?
No doubt. There is not a question in my mind.
First down. There's the mastermind of it. First down, Miami on the Oakland 30. Mercury Morris has 70 yards today. Sonka has 113. And they stop him that time. In other words, the Raiders, the top defensive team in the conference, are about to be pierced for over 200 yards running today. Miami got 241 yards against Cincinnati rushing last week.
The vital thing is time. It's 4:53 and moving. Long counts now. Frustration for Oakland. They're hoping for a turnover desperately.
Second down, 11. Miami on the Oakland 31. 4:39 to play. Mercury Morris, 30, 25, 20, 15, out of bounds. Stops the clock at the 15-yard line. Jack Tatum stopped him. And that is a 16-yard gain now. He has 86 yards, Mercury Morris.
Mercury running to the outside. Mr. Inside, Mr. Outside. The Fablemen of Army. And now they have the Dolphin, inside and outside. You can run to the inside. I'll tell you can run to the outside. Skip Thomas knocking him out. Jack Tatum a little help.
Miami's ball, first down in the Oakland 15. 4 minutes, 24 seconds remaining. Miami's ahead 20 to 10. They led at halftime 14 to nothing. Jim Kick burrowing his way to the 10-yard line. Jim Kick was moaning because he didn't play as much as he wanted to last year. And I asked Don Shula if he'd trade him. Are you kidding? I'd have to be crazy to trade Jim Kick. He's always complaining to me when we play golf together. I said, Jim, you can smell that goal line. You get me big yardage. You're a great blocker. I wouldn't trade you for anyone.
Well, you're always complaining to me, and I wouldn't trade you either.
Second down 5. Miami on the Oakland 10. Miami leading by 10 points. Long signal count, of course, to use the clock. There's Kick again. Just short of the 5-yard line, 5.5-yard line. He gets up. Otis Sistrunk tackling. Mar Fleming's going on the field now, the tight end who has a hemorrhage in his thigh. And they signal that that's short. Kick comes out, or that's Twilly coming out, as Fleming replaced him.
We were talking about Phil Villapiano, young man from the Jersey Shore, fighting off the block, doing all kinds of things. Boy, he's a scrapper. Bowling Green can be proud of him.
Miami now has 248 yards rushing in this game. 248 on Oakland. This has been a tremendous defensive team all year. Over the 5 they go, to the 4. Larry Sonka should have a first and goal to go. And now it's 2.5 minutes to play. As the clock moves to that 2:30 mark, number 73 getting up there, Norm Evans, the right tackle. Sonka looks like he could just carry the ball 100 times a night.
Kurt, it looks like it's over right for the Oakland Raiders. But boy, we've seen this team come around. They were in desperate trouble there for a while. They were unable to score. They changed their quarterback. And this young team that's constantly rebuilding itself has made one whale of a fight of this.
They're coming up to 2 minutes to go. They run on a quick count. No gain at the 4-yard line. Larry Sonka again carrying. Well, I said he'd have at least 30. He must have about that now. That's Larry Little, guard, trying to lead him. And with a 2-minute warning, that's it. That's all that's left in this championship game. It's Miami 20, Oakland 10. Coming up next, the NFL Report with Tim Ryan and Sam DeLuca. 2 minutes to play. There's Joe Robbie, the owner of the Miami Dolphins, about to take another trip to his 3rd Super Bowl in a row. Larry Sonka's carried the ball 28 times today for 115 yards. Mercury Morris is not far away from 100 yards. He has 86. And they have really stuck on the ground today. They just kept the ball on the ground. Just as he was about to go in there, Jim Kick, he stopped on the 2-yard line. They have Monty Johnson in there now, goal line defense, and Skip Thomas. It'll be 2nd down and 2 to go for a Miami touchdown.
And those vital timeouts now are going to have to be used by the Oakland Raiders. Miami just interested now in using up time. I'm sure the Minnesota Vikings, and great, as you said earlier, congratulations to Bud Grant. What a year. Jim Finks, your team has been sensational.
There was a team, we saw them in preseason. And there was a team that you knew, Carl Eller, some of the fellows have been around, you know. And I had a feeling, I'm sure 7, 8, 9 of those veterans there, that this might be their last shot for the Super Bowl. And they set out with that goal in mind. They were undefeated in preseason. They had a great year. They lost to Cincinnati, you know, but they'd already clinched their division. They were impressive today in trouncing the Cowboys. They're going to be a very worthy opponent in that Super Bowl.
Oh, they sure are.
But they set for it, and they made it.
Kurt, we liked Chuck Foreman early, both of us.
Yeah.
We liked the way that defense was moving. But, boy, a special bouquet to Francis Tarkington. He played that football game and played it open all the way.
Yeah, he's had the rap, you know. He's never going to win a championship, but he's never been with players.
It's easy to rap, Kurt.
Yeah.
It's easy to rap.
Never been with players good enough to win championships. They have some help. 2nd and 2. The Miami touchdown. And that is a touchdown again. Oakland's arguing that he wasn't over. But Larry Sonka has just scored his 3rd touchdown. They won't reverse this decision. There's a flag drop. And the Raiders are unhappy at that call. Dan Connors is arguing. Horace Jones. We've had no signal to the penalty. Tommy Bell now will give us one, maybe. This penalty might have been after the touchdown. Flag was definitely dropped.
Horace Jones may be evicted.
Raiders were complaining, of course, that Sonka was not over. All you have to do is be on that goal line or over it, and you're in there. And Horace Jones now has been ejected from the game.
Here it is.
It's going to be hard to tell from this angle.
He's in, Kurt. The ball was over. Jack Tatum made a desperate try, but the ball was over.
That's unsportsmanlike conduct against the Oakland Raiders. Here's the angle now. Let's take a look at this, Al, right down this line of scrimmage. That's Jack Tatum trying to tackle him. And he's definitely over. He's over. He's definitely in there.
Let's try it one more time. We will not. We will.
There he is, and he's in. Touchdown, Sonka. Horace Jones has been ejected from the game. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Evidently he said something, beeped too vigorously to the officials. And the kick now by Yepremian. Miami assaulted it away. The kick is up and good. And the Dolphins are on their way to their 3rd Super Bowl in a row. Timeout with a score. Miami 27, Oakland 10. Now you see the ball spotted on the 45-yard line of Oakland after the 15-yard penalty against the Raiders following the touchdown. Now they want to move the kickoff back. How about moving it forward 15 yards now and kick it over the Orange Bowl? Here's your premier.
Lose a lot of balls.
We'll have interviews in the Miami dressing room on NFL Report right after this game. Your premier boots this one over the end zone. So it'll be Oakland's ball. 1st down on their 20-yard line. That last drive, Miami sealed it up, and Larry Sonka set a new conference championship record, scoring his 3rd touchdown. Miami has passed just 6 times today and completed 3.
You know that Kenny Stabler must go up top, and if you had to pick a man because of his great play who might intercept, it could be Dick Anderson.
I think one of the worst breaks the Raiders got is when they beat Miami out on the coast. Kenny Stabler's pass to Charlie Smith. Smith is stopped short of a 1st down with the clock moving. Doug Swift brings him down there. 1:35 to play. And we have the identical score here right now as the Vikings and the Cowboys had. 27-10. Minnesota winning that game. Miami's winning this one 27-10. Interception. Bob Matheson at the 20. Matheson is out of bounds. Miami has the ball right back again. Bob Matheson has it. That is the first turnover against the Raiders today.
Well, you knew the interception was going to come. Don't blame Stabler. He had to go up into it. He tried to get underneath the short zone again. Matheson, who's been such a standout, he made the 53 defense famous. Came into his own because of an injury, really. That's why they developed it. Kenny Stabler knocking it out of bounds.
Well, the Dolphins have the ball right back again on the Oakland 10-yard line. Bill Arnsparger, the assistant coach now. 6 or 8 clubs have been interested in him. He's the head coach. He's been under Shula for 10 years. They say he'll never leave Shula. And now coming out are Kuchenberg, Little, Mandic, played with a broken hand today with a pin in the knuckle of his little finger. Wayne Moore's out. They got a hand from the hometown fan. Don Shula sending in replacements. Minute 13 to go. John Madden knows his team is beaten. And they've been beaten soundly here now by 17 points. Greasy, that play was messed up, and he goes down on the 15-yard line. I believe I'd have to get him out of there right now.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
And going in now are Charlie Lee and Ron Sellers. With only a minute 9 to go and the Super Bowl coming up. Here's Jim Kick coming out. He gets a hand. He's very popular here. 1 minute to go. Paul Warfield's coming out. They're giving them all big ovations. (27-10) Miami. 45 seconds to go. Greasy to Nottingham. Look at that Nottingham. Tough little monkey, this guy, Al.
Yes, he is. The bowling ball. He gets so close to the ground, you can't find him half the time. What an advantage. Look at it blocking, barreling out. Well, Oakland knows it's over, but they sure made a fight of it. And the bowling ball, well, he got a spare. He almost made a strike.
You know, actually, Nottingham was a great pickup for Miami. He's been superb on their specialty team. John Madden, who's done a sensational job out at Oakland. His record is brilliant, but he's lost today. And there it is. Miami goes to the Super Bowl for the 3rd successive year, an all-time record. John Madden congratulating Don Shula. Before the game, Madden told Al and me, Shula has one of the greatest pro teams of all time. If we can beat him today, we'll have done something. Well, they couldn't do it. And here are the Dolphins coming in. This is a team, Al, that half the season really didn't have much to play for. No big motivation. They clinched their division early. The challenges weren't there, but when the challenges come, there's something.
We saw them on Thanksgiving Day, Kurt. You're right. Nothing to win except their pride and reputation, and that's what they wanted to do. Play for their reputation.
Oh, they're going in as the American Football Conference champion for the 3rd successive year, the only team to ever do that. There's the owner, Joe Robbie, and there's the final. And we're going to be back here with NFL Report in a little bit, going to the Miami dressing rooms. I think that's about all from us. I want to thank Bob Sheridan, Paul Warfield going off, Bob Sheridan and Henry Goldberg for their help here in the booth, our statistician, Joe Costanza, our production stage manager, Jim O'Gorman, and, of course, Kurt Gowdy and L.D. Regattas here as we watch the Miami Dolphins do it again. They've now won by 18 points against the Bengals, by 17 points against the Raiders in the playoffs, and as good as Minnesota is, I would be very surprised if Miami wasn't made the favorite for the Super Bowl, Al.
Oh, they'll be the favorite, and they're going against a very tough front. It's going to be an interesting matchup. All the makings of a truly outstanding Super Bowl. Kurt, 2 teams that move it so beautifully.
All right, Al, we're on our way to the Rose Bowl now tomorrow morning to bring you Ohio State and USC. So we hope you'll be looking in on New Year's Day from Pasadena. Thanks for watching NBC today. And that Rose Bowl's on at 4:30 Eastern Time. Ohio State, USC. We're looking forward to a great one. John Madden out of the corner of his eye. watches the clock move away from him. Kenny Stabler, heroic in the second half, but in a losing cause. New Year's Day, following the Rose Bowl, LSU against Penn State. Don Shula still can't believe he's in there for the third year in a row, although he's a very confident man. And you've seen it all on NBC Sports with a winning quarterback, Bob Greasy. NBC #1 in live coverage of major sports events all year round.
This is the scene at the Orange Bowl in Miami, where the world champion Miami Dolphins have just won their third consecutive American Conference Championship, defeating the Oakland Raiders 27-10. The Dolphins will now advance against the Minnesota Vikings in Super Bowl VIII. Sam DeLuca will be along to talk with members of the winning Miami Dolphins in just a moment. NBC Sports presents the Sperry NFL Report, brought to you by Sperry Rand Corporation, where the big idea is making machines do more so man can do more. Hello, everyone. I'm Tim Ryan here at the Orange Bowl in Miami, where the Dolphins, with a great show of consistency and poise, have defeated the very tough Oakland Raiders 27-10 to move into the Super Bowl against the Minnesota Vikings in 2 weeks' time. Larry Zonka was the main man today offensively for the Dolphins. He had 3 touchdowns. He rolled up 117 yards rushing. He scored in the first quarter a 10-yard run after a great scramble by quarterback Bob Greasy set that up. Then he bashed in from the 1-yard line near the end of the first half to make it 14-0. And that's how it stood at the end of that first half. And it was a very similar first half to the game between Minnesota and Dallas, which we'll be talking about. A real kind of battering ram kind of game, and the games wound up in identical scores. But here in Miami, in the third period, the game turned around, and you saw George Blanda kick a field goal from 21 yards out to make it 14-3. Garo Yepremian kicked a field goal after Charlie Lee had run the ball deep into Oakland territory to make it 17-3, but it was the Raiders' best period of the game as they followed up the field goal with a touchdown Stabler to Ciani that made it 17-10, and that's as close as they got again. In the fourth period, the Dolphins once again asserted their authority. Yepremian's 26-yard field goal made it 20-10, and Larry Zonka finished it off with his third touchdown of the day to make it 27-10. Mercury Morris had 86 yards to complement the fine ball carrying of Larry Zonka. There were only 6 passes thrown by the Dolphins today, and that tells some kind of a story. Greasy completed 3 of 6. Minnesota defeating Dallas 27-10 by that same score earlier in the day. Defeated a very fine Dallas club, but they were the class today, the Vikings, as we see in the background, the excited Miami dressing room, 27-10. Chuck Foreman dominating the action in the first half, 9 turnovers dominating the action in the second half, but the Vikings coming out on top of that one to move into the Super Bowl against these Miami Dolphins. Sam DeLuca will be in that Miami dressing room to introduce to you some of the stars of the winning Miami Dolphins, and we'll be back with more of the Sperry NFL Report right after this message.
This is the NFL Pro Football Draft.
Ernie, a linebacker, right?
Charlie, we just lost Butler.
There goes my linebacker. All right, look, we got to fill that spot.
In 5 minutes.
In 5 minutes. Let's go.
Every year, 26 pro football teams compete for the best college players.
Get over there, see if you can find out what Buffalo's doing.
Plus, the 8 teams get help from a Sperry Univac computer.
Hi, Charlotte. How are you? Look, I need a linebacker. You got to be at least 6'3", 240. Ability to blitz, lateral quickness.
What?
Blitz, B-L-I-T-C. Lateral quickness. Good football instinct. Give me an injury report.
Sperry Univac computers are special because they answer questions fast.
Stanfield, Powers. Who have you got? The kid from Alabama. Powers, phone it in. Right.
That's why they're used in so many businesses where fast answers are important.
Powers to Pittsburgh.
How'd we do?
We lost Butler, but we got a good boy.
Yes?
Powers from Alabama. Yeah, 230 pounds and fast.
Good, good. Sign him up.
You got him.
Good work.
Sperry Rand Corporation, making machines do more so man can do more.
Well, let's go into that happy Miami locker room and join Sam DeLuca with Coach Don Shula.
Coach, they say that a football team assumes the personality of its coach. You must be a very calm, collected, and efficient individual, because this is a very calm and collected and efficient locker room, as they were on the field today.
Well, I've had my moments both ways, but I'll say this. I can't be